Welcome to session 4, week 4. We're halfway, basically, eh? Got 8 weeks of this. Better hurry. Okay, so we are going to continue drawing this little house, but as we can't see the screen very well, being black background, I'll change it to white background here. And just going to the big A up here, options. And then I just go to colors under the display tab, colors. And it's a uniform background. You can change everything, the crosshair, everything here. But anyway, I only usually just bother with the background. Change it from black to white. Okay, apply and close, and okay that. And that's a bit better, I think. All right, so I have. Let's go on this. Okay, let's do that. Close that. All right, so I have updated the additional exercises. Or intro to AutoCAD practice, sorry. This one here, I've updated this floor plan, so we'll have some more definition about where all these openings are and that sort of thing. Now, yeah, I've even put in the door panel opening, but there is a note here saying generally doors are central to the wall or 100 millimeters from the corner, depending on the situation. So like this one here will be 100 millimeters from this corner here. This one will be central to that wall. This one is central. And this one here, I don't actually know where it is. But anyway, this one here, we could say that it's halfway between. You can make something up, but it could be halfway between. It's getting bigger. Halfway between maybe that corner there and that corner there. It's just good exercise to work out how you do that. Get in the middle there. All right, so there's not too many that are 100 millimeters away, really, in general here, except for that one. And this is central again, and this is a 720. I have obviously stuffed up the color there. It's red, it's supposed to be black. It's just in the wrong layer. And I have missed one or two, like this one. And this one's not rotated. But anyway, apart from this one here, the rest are 820s, which means a 900 opening, allowing for 40 millimeter frame each side. All right, that's just all nominal. All right, so let's go with that. Let's keep that there and then just refer to it as we need to. So what I've done so far is just added this room here and the toilet, and that's where I left it. And then now this measurement here is sort of doubling up, but I put that there as well. But really, this should equal to the same 2440 to the corner. So it's 2350 plus 90 in there, right? So all right, so 2350 plus 90, that's what that is. So we could offset this there. So O for offset. Do we have any questions from last week? Did someone ask me to do a 3D or something last week, or was it the other class? I will show you how to get this into a little bit of a 3D looking before before we finish off. That's not really doing 3D solids, but looking at it from an axonometric point of view, it gives a good impression. All right, so everything on. All right, so just we're calling your name out, but no one's answering. That's all right. All good. Have faith you'll get here eventually. All right. Okay, so we're just starting this little exercise from where we left off last week. Did you start that last week? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we'll go with that, and I have got this new thing up here with some more measurements. All right, so 24, 40%. So I'm just going to offset this here. Go to the home tab. Offset 2440. I do have a printout, so I don't have to click over too often. 2440. Enter. And click there and click there, and that's where it is. Now, we've got to go backwards here to get the. I mean, I could have done the 20, whatever it was, 350, and then the 90, but I just went for 40, and I can go back the other way 90, as I've got the offset line still going. If I don't change that to 40, it's going to end up back where it was. So I've got to type in 90 here now. Enter. Just pointing to the left, and putting that in. So there's a number of ways, as we discovered last week, of putting that in, including the from command, using the extension command, using these things here, the object snap tracking, and of course just the good old offset, and then you have to deal with deleting some stuff or trimming. All right, so the other way is apparently 2000. Looking at that figure there, just go back. So this figure here, 2000. So we'll just go for offset, enter 2000 there, and go down, and then down, click, didn't click, and click and go this way and just type in 90. That puts that in. So now we have to work out how to trim that up, and it's always best to just keep trimming things up as you're going along rather than ending up with a big mess and you don't know which is which. So let's, how would you suggest we clean this up now? This corner here. Do we have any suggestions as to how we could do that? What command would we use to? Yeah, fillet would probably be the best one. I mean, you could extend and trim and all that, but then that's the fillet command would do the whole thing in one. So for example, it'll extend this out to there and it'll trim this one back up there, for example. So if I went fillet with a radius of 0, trim my direct radius is 0, so I don't have to worry about it, but I do want to do a couple, so I've got multiple. So I'm just going to click here and click there, and click here and click there. And that's it really. I mean, when I get into trim mode, I'll go along and do these little bits and pieces, but for now I'll just leave it. All right, so down here now, how do we work out where that line, how does it work? How do we know where that is? Basically, from what I remember here, we just picked up a 45 that went straight down here from that corner. So we could do that. So we could just draw a line of 45. So number of ways of drawing that, of course. The easiest being, we don't know the length of that line, of course, but the easiest being setting your polar tracking, this one here, to 45s. So you just basically use the line command from that corner there. And just as long as you get that extension happening, you don't have to go all the way. You can just, like, I mean, there we are, there you go. That's connecting. If you're having trouble connecting to that, for example, if you snap into the endpoint or something like that, then I suggest you go past or leave it behind a bit, and then you can just fillet it. But this one here seems to be connecting okay, so we get it fixed. I mean, eventually we have to fillet that because other things are extending, so it's neither here or there, whether we go to the corner or not there. Then we just simply offset 90. So just after this, I'll pause a bit, but I just want to clean this up, and I'll come around and make sure you are all doing okay. So I'm just going to go F for fillet now. Spacebar is like enter, and I'm just going to do M for multiple. I'm typing things in now rather than clicking them. Saves me having to come down in here all the time and or up there. So I'm going to go like that to basically with the fillet command is what we want to keep. We click on like this, and this, and this, and that. Well, that there, it's not going to help. It's not going to work. This little line here, it's just sitting on its own, so it's not going to fill it or whatever. So we'll just delete that one if you've got that. All right, then we can basically after that we've just basically got another line to put in here. Did I not? Yeah, I think there's another request to tell you where this door is, which I didn't actually do with the location of that door. But I'll get that from my finished version, and I'll tell you where that is now. All right. All right, so let's just have a look where put that wall. It doesn't matter if you put it somewhere else. It's no big deal. I guessed it the first time as well, so it's probably something like 600.01 or something. Where's my measuring tape? This one here. From that corner, 575.7359. That's a good number. How did I even come up with that? It must be. There's not even a reason why that should be that. Probably that might be the middle. I don't know. Anyway, let's just make it whatever 575. But what? Let me just check here. We've got a wall here that's at this point looking like 1330. Wonder if I drew a line, just trying to work out the method to my madness if there was one, uh, from the middle of that. Yeah, that's what it was. That's the method to my madness. So I just what I did is yeah, which is good practice. Oh goodness, here it is. Yeah. All right. So what I did to locate that, I said let's begin that wall from the midpoint of that and then offset 90. That's what I did. And yeah. Anyway, if you want to practice that, you can. I don't actually even mind where you put that, but I'm just going to do it that way. So I'm going to draw that. Now at this point, I can just simply got the line command, and because I've got my midpoint happening, it will just work. Fix it up to the midpoint and come straight across and escape. And then I'll offset that 90 immediately. There you go. So that's the method to my madness there. Yeah, so that's the actual finished one. Yeah, so we've got everything within AutoCAD. We don't have to flick over to the PDF. All right, so we're going to put some doorways in here. Pretty much, have we got all our rooms sorted here now? That's it. Yeah, we've got all our rooms. So we just got to put some openings, eh? Interesting, eh? I will put some openings first in there. Well, before we do that, let me confuse you with something. Or not this bit. We'll just trim this up first, and then I'll confuse you with something. So there's a few little things here I haven't finished. So I'm just going to use the trim command. Now, have we used the trim command before? Right? With the trim command, we just go trim, click on trim, and then I press enter. All right, straight after that, which means I don't have to actually tell it where to trim to. Like, for example, if I didn't press enter, in this situation, if I wanted to clean this up, I would have to say, well, this is my trim boundary here, and so is this. Then press enter, and then start clicking the bits I want to remove. I'll show you. This way and that's this way. We're just actually giving them now the boundaries to trim to. And then I press enter, and then I can pick this and this. But then that's all I can do. I can't come down here and do that because I haven't picked those two. So generally in this simple situations, if I undo that, I will go trim and just press enter, which means it's telling AutoCAD, you work it out, basically. You go to the nearest line and trim up to that. The catch with that is that usually you have to have that line visible on your screen. Sometimes, especially with trimming, extending, sorry, trimming. I mean, yeah. So you have to have the line you're trimming visible. So sometimes, especially if I hide that there, sometimes it won't work. So if I hide that top line there, so it's off the screen, I'm thinking it might not work. No, it's working. So it still must be able to see it. It's more of a visual thing for AutoCAD when you do that. So okay, so let's just trim it anyway. But if it's not working for you, sometimes it's because it can't see that coming line. All right, so that's it. That's done. Now, before I go any further and add any openings to it, we'll show you how you could convert this into 3D. What I suggest is we'll save it first and just give a record of what I've done so far. the previous version. I'll just save as this time, and I'll call it number 2 because last week it could be number 1, I suppose. Um, all right, so I'll save that one. So how do we get this? I mean, this is not, you're doing a simplicity course, but this is not really difficult if you're trying to impress someone with a floor plan, if that's your thing, or anything really. So if we just hold the shift key down and then we'll go make out, we're going to pan. So we'll hold down the scroller, right? But we'll push up like this and it drops it into like an isometric view, right? So you can move around a bit. Just because we don't, it's a bit like flying, don't crash. All right, so we'll do that. Now if you notice, this view cube has actually gone into a cube rather than top on. I mean, before it was like from the top. If we get something like this, it doesn't matter how. And then if I can get you to go to View tab and then click on Properties. Control 1 is a shortcut to it. All right, that brings that up. All right. Now, what we're going to do is, it's a bit confusing, but I've got this long cross here. But I'm going to click over here and then down here, making sure I get the whole thing in. Let's see what I've got here. All right, we're looking for this thing here called thickness. Actually, what that does, it nothing to do with the line weight thickness. It's everything to do with how tall you want that wall to be. So, look, because if you say it was 2.4 ceiling height to 2.4 meters, I wouldn't do 2.4. I just want to do a little bit because some of these rooms being too small, like the toilet, you got 2.4, you can't see into it from this angle. So we just want to give the impression of the space in 3D. So let me just go halfway, so 1200, and see what that looks like. So under thickness, you just enter that, and then we just escape, and it does that. Now that's not really all, because I'll take one more step. Up here now, you see up here is a thing called custom view and 2D wireframe. I will change that to maybe conceptual, and then now you can see the space a little better. So it's not rocket science, but I think it's impressive for what we're doing in a minute. So basically, some of you weren't able to see this. That's one reason is because you might have had this above it. So if that was like on top of that, then you can't see it. If it's not top, it's usually sort of like that. So we had it like that. So it's behind there. So just pick this up, and when you see the outline happening like that, just move your mouse towards the left. Just drop it in the box there and move this over. Now, some of you still couldn't see that. If you can't see that, one remedy is to just scroll your mouse over the top of it and it just highlights like that. When you see it highlighting, just click it. There's another way, but I can't seem to find that menu at this point where the views are. Here we go. There's a preset isometrics, but it doesn't give you the other options. Now, the other options we've got here are sketchy, for example. So you can have it, and you can have that. I suppose you can have that sketchy if you're looking from the top as well. But it's a bit of a mess. It's actually north is the wrong way here. You see there's north, east, west up here on this cube. So yeah, it's yeah, a bit like that. All right. So anyways, how do we get this back? First of all, we need to change this, whatever setting you got there to the wireframe. So that comes back like that. So if it was like this, it comes back like that. Then you got to just click top here on the view cube. And you just got to make sure you've got down the bottom left here the X and Y. And you also have got make sure you've got a little square where they meet up, and then that means you're in the world UCS. But however, this thing here is still in 3D mode. It's still 1200. Okay, so um, it's recommended that if we're doing trimming and stuff like that, that we just drop it back down to 0, because when you're looking at things from the top, if you say, for example, you've got an opening in here and you want to draw a line across that opening, it could snap to the bottom of one end, but then to the top of the other. So you get a diagonal line across your doorway, and you can't see that. It gets messy. You can get easily stuff it up. Yes, really messy. Yes. So we need to just pull that back. Same way as before. Make sure you got your properties up. If you haven't, it doesn't matter. Just highlight this. Or you can do, as I said, Control A, highlights everything in there. In this case, everything is what we want. And it says over here 1200. If that's not up, you just have to right click and go properties. It will come up that way as well, or Control 1. So I just change that from 1200 to 0. If 0 worked. Oh, yeah, it did work. It's here. Yes. All right. But hang on. Control A. 0 is what I change in here. Here you go. All right. So that's now back to 2D again. Yep. Got it. Now let's work how to trim these doors. All right. So that's the next point of interest. So I've got some measurements here as to where they are, and as I said up here, there could be centrally, but most of the windows, for example, central to the room. The bath one is not, but this one should be. Although it doesn't look good, should be. Uh, Sometimes it's central to the outside, but generally inside the room. Um, all right, so that, and here's a bit special. It's a big room. All right, so let's sort this out. What are we going to put in? Shall we just do? We can just start off setting from one end. And now we don't have to offset, of course. 480 from the corner if I'm going to put this window opening here. So I can go, and now I was going to show you how to create a window. Wasn't I last week? I was saying last week, wasn't I? Yeah. So we'll do the openings maybe and just show you how to get the window in. So let's have a look. Oops, should be down here. All right, here we are. No, here we are. Down here. That's the one. All right, so it says here it's 480 from the corner, so I can offset that in, or I could use, if I've got my extension on, which I have down here, extension, I should be able to go to it and just draw it in. So let's have a look. Line. If I hang around there for a bit, I should just be able to follow across. See if I went on the green, if I hang around here and went to the left, it does this little green line. Same thing if I go to the right, hang around a bit there. If you can't grasp that, you're going to have to do the offset command. So it says extension there. See how it's writing extension on there? Just on my heads up display there. And it's saying what number it is. At the moment, I'm sitting at 643. But I could just type in 480 and just overwrite that. So that means it's starting that line from the 480 from the corner. And now I can go, because I've got perpendicular across as well, it will go perpendicular, or it will just find the intersection there, because I also have this other thing here called object snap tracking on, and it can just work out where it is and create its own intersection. So there you go. So that's put in. Now once I've got that in, I can offset now the width of the window, which is offset 1210. So just click that and then just pop over here somewhere, and that's what it is. So from here on, because I've got the numbers in, I could just keep offsetting. The only thing we've got to do later on is trim this bit in here. That's a bit extra. So, and then change this green bit up here once we split the line into the red layer, and trim that bit, the rest of this out. First of all, I'd like to get you to do the top line of offset, and then we can go from there. So if we could just keep going offset, off or offset, and then the next number is 240, right? So I just put in 240, enter, and I just click here. Now I just click to the right. Make sure you're not anywhere, just to avoid any trouble. Don't be on the line here, like, because it could snap back to the original line. Like this one is showing that it's going to snap back to the midpoint of that, which means you could put the 240 to the right or to the left. And if it's to the right, we're okay. And that's how you can get it wrong. So I do. The only other way is to turn off your object snaps, but you do need them. So what I do instead of that, I just move my cursor above that, so it's not snapping to any lines, just above there, and it's still pointing to the right, so it's no problem. So it's just a bit of a. So I go up here now. See, I click on there, then I go up. 900 is the next one, and then I click on it here, and I go up. 170. Okay, so that gets across there. Then it's 1810. 1810. Enter. And then 1640. We'll go click here. 1640. And then we go 900. And it just finish escape there. It's always handy or good to check that that last distance is the remaining one that I'm mentioning. 650. Good. Something's happening today. So I'll just wait for you to do that, then I'll show you how to trim all this stuff out. So this is how we're going to trim it. Okay, so let's go over to this exercise. All right, so what I'm going to do is this. Click the trim command, which is sitting up top of the fillet right here. TR is the short command, and enter. And then I'm just going to press enter, which allows it to work out itself where to trim to. And all right, so click the command, press enter, and then I'm going to use my crossing window to, well, okay, I could click one by one like this, like that, or I could click here and then go to the left and click there, and just does a whole lot at the same time. So I prefer that method because it's a lot quicker. And just do that. Now we haven't finished here. While in that command, we'll keep going and zoom up in here, really up, and get those bits in here. All right, like that. All right. So we'll just keep going. Just trimming those bits, zooming in there. Just being very careful there. And then we've got a bit of a job to convert those green things into red things, because really they're in the wrong layer, because that's supposed to be brick there, not the timber stud. So done that much, I'll escape. And how am I going to get this to, how can I get this to highlight quickly? That's a question. Well, I'm going to see if this works. I'm going to zoom into here and click there and just do a crossing window, but very, very thin crossing window. Let's see if AutoCAD used to not like this years ago. If you zoomed in, used to leave half of it behind. But let's see if I zoom into this area here. See if it's improved, here. There you go. So it's highlighted all those top ones in one go. So I'll show you again. What I did is I zoomed in here. I started my crossing window like this. Then I zoomed out. I came to the other end, zoomed in, and finished it like that. Make sure you not the blue one, but the green one, So it's green once you start from that end. So all of those are highlighted, which means I can go here where it says layers and change it from wall studs to wall brick and escape. So that's probably best practice to make sure you're putting things in the right layer. Although when we put the window, No, on top of it, is anyone going to actually know? Do you think? If someone looks hard enough, probably they will know. If they switch off the windows, they would know that you didn't change it back. But there's another way they could possibly know. The window's probably going to be maybe 1.8 millimeters, sorry, 0.18 millimeters thick line work. But the wall is actually 0.35 thick. If I look at my layers here, what have I got? I've got wall with window, wall brick, 0.35. So it would it wouldn't be the same thickness as the rest of them. Anyway, so that's right. While it's highlighted, just change the layer, and then it puts it in that red layer. How's that for a technique? So if when you're trimming in here, you make a mistake and you trim the wrong line or the wrong way or whatever, the command has an undo within it, like the line command has. So you can just click undo rather than escaping and then undoing. If you did that, then it will undo the whole sequence. So just look out for those undos in the options down here in the command line. So we're going to create a window now. Different companies will have a different idea of a window. Some will have a very simple window, which basically the vertical line here, the vertical line there, and one in the middle, and not the top ones at all. Some would just have what you see there, but not the frame. Some will have all of that you see there, plus another couple of lines at the end of the frame. I've just gone for somewhere in between. If you're printing this at 1:100, you don't really want too many lines there because you just come out a fat blob at 1:100. So just it's not diagrammatic really. It's not meant to indicate the actual thing. It's just a simple window. So this is what I've done to create this. Oh, this is actually a window. Just it's already a block, but as you can see when I click on there now, it's got a little dot here, which means that's where I told it the insertion point shall be when it comes in. When it comes in, it'll be hooked onto my crosshair at that location of the window. And then I can match that corner, say, with the corner of the wall. So I tell it where to put it. I could have picked the midpoint, but being a window opening as we have now, we've got no midpoint to put it in. It's a gap. So you have to keep going, shift right click, middle between 2 points, click one end of the wall and the other end of the wall to work out what the midpoint is. So I chose just one corner. I also made this window a little bit wider than my wall. If I measure that, it's 300, the wall is 240. So that's sort of going to indicate the window sill, perhaps. If you look here, it just extends past the wall. So that's and I just clicked it in the corner there. If you have a look at the ones we've been doing up here, they've been rotated, so it's on the other side. So my window will then go to the endpoint of that wall there, and in the right layer, it will look good. Now the thing is, our window layer, some of you have looked at already, is purple here. Oh goodness! And over here, the window is not purple. Okay, but it is there. That window there is inserted in the window layer. This window here happens to be inserted in the 0 layer, which is white. So you can see that the way we created this window is it just takes the properties of the layer it's inserted in. So I could make it inserted in the, for example, in the wall layer, it'll be red. So it's a good thing, I suppose. If you, especially if you, I don't know, if you want to segregate these windows, you can put them. You might have a ground floor and the first floor, and they're on top of each other. You can create layer, window F0 or window F1, floor 1, whatever, and put them in different layers, but using the same block. All right. So if I just escape over that, you notice now that I've put it in that brick layer. If I explode it, or any of the windows, if I explode it, here we are. It goes back to the original line work that I created it with, and the original layer that was created in, which was in fact layer 0. Now the trick to creating blocks like these is that If you create them in layer 0, then you can insert them in a particular layer and it will take the color or the properties of that layer. Right, so that's what I've done. I've made in layer 0, exported it out, brought it back in to the correct layer window, and it just goes purple. And we're able to then turn off windows and all the windows will turn off. All right, so this is what I've started off with. I did one, but I actually got many windows. I've got 3 different types in here. This one here is probably I don't know, it's an 1810. So I made, I'll show you how I did this actually. I'll show you how I did it. First of all, we need to draw something. Now this could have probably been in better practice if I did this in like joint to like a polyline joint rather than having 4 different lines. And what are these? This is already a rectangle, so probably a rectangle would have been better. So let's move over to the little practice file here. Let's create this window. I'll just do it here, doesn't matter. Just change your layer to 0. Probably the only time you should be drawing layer 0 apart from when we practice the first couple of weeks. So 0 is only for creating blocks. Right? If you're not doing layer 0 instead, it won't take the properties of that layer. Now, sometimes, for example, if you wanted to create a block that's got a table and a chair in it, but you wanted to somehow turn off the chair separately to the table, you would have to do one of two things. Either create the chair separately and the table separately and bring them in separately, then you can control what layer they go in. If you wanted to really have it as a group one thing, you either accept that it's going to be, they're both going to be on the same layer, whether it be dining, suite or something, or you have to then layer it. That's the only time you layer it. You actually create a layer within the block. So okay, table's going to go into the layer table, chair under chair, but I'm going to bring it in under dining. So you can, if I freeze dining, table and chair go. If I just turn off chair, chair goes off, table stays. That's more complicated. We're staying simple. 95% of the time is what I'm showing you here now. All right, so let's do that now. All right, so let's go. Let's begin with line. Let's begin with a rectangle. Actually, let's go with rectangle. Let's go rectangle here. All right, and I'm just going to do actually the reverse of what I've got there. I'm going to do the 610, the smallest window I've got in here, which is the toilet one. It doesn't matter which way you go; it just means you either stretch it or well, yeah. So let's go with let's begin somewhere. So just click somewhere. Make sure you're in layer 0. All right. So there it is. What I'm going to do now, if I click down here, you see some options. The middle option is the dimensions. All right. So first you go rectangle, click somewhere, anywhere, and then click D or D enter for dimensions. So far, so good. Yeah. Now the first thing it's going to ask me is what's the dimension. That is asking the length one. That's the X. So it's going to be 610 wide. I'll just type in 610 and then press enter. Then it asked me for the depth and we said that was 300. So there's my little, apparently my little window, 610 window. All right, so you just want me to tell you where to put it. Basically, place it a bit like offset. You just have to click to one side or the other or up or down. Doesn't matter where, but just away from your wall. Just click it there and that's it. Now, if you're not sure if you've done it right, you can measure it. And what I suggest with the measuring command, the distance, is just do a crossing, a diagonal little corners, this one and that one. That'll give you, if you read here, the measurements of the depth as well. All right, so that's one command does both. Okay, so that's correct. So then we need to draw the that frame, and the frame was, if I just click here, it's a frame here. Now the frame, if we have a look here, oh, I don't have any over there. I think what I was trying to do here is put the frame about halfway between there and there. You just check uh, from there to there. Yeah. So I was just trying to put the frame halfway of the wall. The wall is 240. So, but I'll give you that distance here now. So front distance is 75 in from there, but our window is, we are drawing the other one up here, so 75 from the bottom distance. All right, so how are we going there? Let me just have a little pause. All right, now we've got 75 up. So let's do that from there. And that's probably why I did it in a single line, so I can just offset up 75. But we might be able to do this with some techniques we've learned so far. If I go here, rectangle, I want to begin from there, 75 up. So I should hang around there, go up. Oops, up a bit. Type in 75. All right, so that begins my rectangle. Did I put rectangle or come out? Yes, I did. And then rotation and dimension, and I put in now it's 40 wide, so 40 in the X, and gee, I can't remember what it was in the other way. um, but let's go with 90 for now. 90 doesn't matter. We're just making this up, and then you got to make sure you place it up or down. I'll just double check that though. That is 90 now that I finished that command. Could be 100. It doesn't really matter. No, it's 90. All right, so that's what I had before. So we've got that in. So now we've got to put one over here, but I'll show you how to do that using the mirror command. So just get that in there. Like if you can't get that that command to move up there 70, sorry, no, 75, you've got two options. You either explode this line, this thing here, and offset it up, or what you do, I'll show you another technique. I'll do it on this side. I'll start my rectangle from the corner, and I've got default dimensions. I'll put in my 40, yes, and my 90, and I'll put it in there like that. Then I'll just simply highlight it and move it up from here straight up. Make sure my ortho is on, straight up 75. It's another way of doing it if you can't get that thing to work, that extension. All right, but you can do the other one like that, or I can show you the mirror command as well. All right, so now I'll show you the mirror command. So once I've got this one here, you either repeat the process over here and do it this side, or use that one and mirror it, which is probably better if you've got CAD in front of you. So if I just click on this thing here now, and then I hit the mirror command, which is here. I don't believe we've done the mirror before. So if I click on mirror, which is underneath rotate, what it needs is an imaginary mirror line. So it can get confusing when you're first using this. You know, is it meant to be a vertical line or horizontal line? You know, now you can only try and think about yourself standing in front of the mirror. So if you were this thing here, and you want to see yourself on the other side over here, where would you put the mirror? It'll go here, along the midpoint of that to there, right? Because you know that if just like you're standing in front of the mirror, however you see yourself on the other side, however far away you are from the mirror, you see the same distance the other way. So we're going to go the middle to the middle of that, and then it asks you a question: do you want to erase the original, or do you want to keep it there? And the answer is no, I don't want to erase the original. Sometimes you do, but this time we don't. Click no, and that stays there. And basically all you got to do is draw a line that joins these two together, like so. And almost got our block construction ready, or we have. We just have to export it out as a block, and then we can use it. Now, there's two ways of making a block. One way is to make a block that's only usable within this drawing only, and you can't access it to use it for future drawings, which sounds a bit useless. or you can create it so you can use it as a library to have from here on, which is what we're going to do. Give your drawings a little save just in case we lose anything now that we've done all this work. So now we're going to export it out. Right. I'm not sure where the command is. I was typing W. So create a block. Here we go. Create a block, write a block. Here you go. Under insert, the short command is W, but a write a block means export it out or write it to your hard disk. All right, so let's do that. And it comes up with this dollar box. Everybody got the dollar box up? If you can't find it, just W enter. All right, so there's a few important things here. Now, if we just close it up a minute just so I can show you this. So let's do it again. So it's write a block. Now, there's a couple of things to fill in. We don't want to we don't want to. If you how I said to you before, you could just create a block for that works only in here. If you have that option, if you did that, you could say, yeah, I've got a block in here. There's some in here already by the look of it. I just want to export that block now out to the hard disk. So you can now always, if you've just done it the wrong way, you can export out stuff. So if you pick up someone's floor plan and you want to, take what they had, you could just go through and copyright the whole thing. All right. Anyway, after that, so we'll go. This is what we're doing. Create a new one. Now, base point is very important, as I said before. Now, what I want to do here is match up that corner there when it comes in with that corner there, or I might want to match up this corner with that corner. It doesn't matter. Both work. You just choose one. I'm going to go with the left. In the other drawing I did, it was a different one, different altogether. Let's go. Otherwise, if you don't do that, it just assumes it's 0, 0, which is down here and further, is the actual location. So when you come in, your crosshairs one is here, and your window is sort of passed above my screen somewhere, and you can't see the window. It's off the screen. So you need to attach your base right onto there. So you go like that, pick point, and just say, that's my point. That's it. It puts in a number, and your number a bit different to my number, but it's very accurate. It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2 decimal points. And AutoCAD units can only go to 8. Anyway. No. It doesn't have to be turned together. It can be separate lines. When it comes in, it'll be one thing. You wouldn't know that it was done with a million lines until you exploited that window for some reason or another. Yeah. No. You don't have to have the selection first because you can select point. I think you can pre-select, and then that should be okay. Yeah, it'll make it into one unit. Yeah. So this is the bit that does it. Select objects. Now we've told it where the anchor point is going to be. There. We'll manage that. Yeah. Okay. Now we're going to go select objects. Select what's actually going to be in their block. And I'm just going to do a window, making sure I get everything like this. Any window, crossing, window, whatever, like that. Once you've done that, just press enter. And you've got an option here to retain that as separate lines or convert that into a block. If I convert it to a block, it'll convert it into a block and put it in the current layer that I'm in, which is 0. But it just means I can't change it if I made a mistake. Well, I can. I can explode it and then change it. I tend to always retain it as single lines. I don't really need to. I'm not sure what happened with the other one. But yeah, whatever's there, it doesn't matter because it's going to be exported out. Now the next important thing is this: where is it going to go? Because if you can't find it, then you're wasting your time. So now you're going to put it somewhere. And my system that I've got here is sitting under my vet units, and it's sitting under Intro to AutoCAD, and I've got a folder here called blocks already. I'm not sure you guys got it. I mean, my drawing is in here. Then I've got a subfolder called blocks. You don't have to. You can put it all in one, but it's not good practice to have your library sitting with your drawings So what you can do is click the little dots there, the little button, and just, I'm not sure where it's going to take you, but you need to create a folder. So you just have to come in here and just go plus, for example, create a new folder, call it, well, I've already got one blocked. You might call it library, for example, like that. You got your library, then you select your library and you go, okay, what am I going to call this one here? Okay, so I've got an, so go, okay, what am I going to call it? It's defaulting to a name, which is great because it is actually a window dash 0610. I just put in a 0 in front of the 6 because I'm going to do a 1510 as well, or whatever, or 1810. And it's underscore plan view because we might have an elevation of it later on. So I just call it plan, but it's just the one system. So once I do that, it says here AutoCAD drawing 2018 version. It's just what 2019 defaults to as the version, which is fine. Save that and then go, okay, now it's going to go into, oh my goodness, I just noticed I created a folder library under a folder called blocks. It's a bit confusing in my situation, but anyway, that's where it goes. I'll come and help you out with that. So now it's gone there. You have a look. If I have a look in here, unfortunately, I put it into here. There's my little thing, and you might notice that it's actually looks like an icon of your drawing, like your drawings, because it is in fact a .dwg file. It's no different. It's the same as your drawing file, the same format, and it's it's a drawing file, and the only difference is we're calling it a block or a component is because it's just a simpler organism as such. It's not a complex thing like a house plan. That's all it is. All right, so we're back. So now we've created our block. So that's a 610. So we need a 210 and a 1810. So you could stretch this out and re-export it out. It's one way. Probably the easiest way with practice. Or the other way, you could actually open that file that we just created and stretch it within that file and save it as a different name. Making sure if you had this bottom left as your insertion point, you stretch it this way, that way, to the right, away from that. You don't stretch this end because you end up stuffing up your insertion point. But to be safe, I think we'll just do that another 2 times, and then we'll be right. So how about if we now learn the stretch command and go to home and then go to stretch, which is this one here, S stretch. So we'll click stretch, and then what we're going to do is stretch this end of it because we gave, I'm assuming that you gave it this end as your insertion point. So the opposite end to your insertion point, keep that one in, we'll keep the same one. It doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, we're going to give it the left insertion point again, but I'm going to go right anyway. And if I go like that, here if I go from the right to left, it gives me the crossing window, which is green. And so basically what's inside that window will move, like the vertical bit, like the vertical line in this frame here, that will move across to the right. And where it's sort of touching the horizontal lines on the left-hand side of that crossing window, so this horizontal line, this one down here, and that one, that bit of the line will rubber band out, will expand, will stretch. Right? So first you got to do stretch, click that, and then you press enter. All right, so basically you just defined what needs to be stretched. Right, and then it says base point. Is yours saying base point yet? Select base point, yeah? Specify base point. Yeah, all right. Now, because it's 610 and the next one I want is 410, I've got to make it 600 wider, right? So it doesn't really matter where I click it because I've got nothing to match up to anyway. So I'm just going to click somewhere here and see how when I move my crosshair, that becomes bigger. Also, it can become smaller. Eh? You can compress with the stretch command as well. Anyway, we want to make it bigger. So just head to the right and type in 600. We're making 600 bigger, which will give us a 10. Done. Once we've done that, it's the W for window, or go to window, and we'll do something again. It's funny, we're doing W for W block, for write a block. And then, so have we got that yet? So we click somewhere, head to the right, and go 600. Now we're just going to go insert, right block, same thing comes up. We go pick point, first thing, base point, pick point, give it the bottom left, select objects, get a window, enter, comes back to this. Then yours will probably default to the right spot. I've moved my library since. So I've got to go back and find it again. Yours will probably come to the right spot. So I moved mine where I wanted it to be, which is here, there, and library. So the next one, I'm just going to click on that name once, and then it's going to modify the number rather than having to retype the whole thing. Just put in 1210, and then save, and then go OK. So I'll repeat that, make this 600 next bigger, and that'll be an 1810. If you want a 1510 as well, you can do that in between if you like. We don't have any on here, but you might want to put down the track. It's the same procedure. I'm going to go stretch, yes for stretch, enter, or you can click stretch up on the home button here, stretch, select that, enter, click somewhere, go across 600, enter. There's my 1810. You can always check it. It's 1810, it is. Then you can do your right block, W for right block, enter, pick a point, select objects, like that, enter. It already defaults to that, but I want to go to it. And if I click to it, to go to it, I can just click that name and just change the 2 to an 8. And then it's 1810. And I save that. And we've taken a leap of faith here, not testing the first one, make sure it's working, but hopefully we were okay. Otherwise, we just replicated the problem 3 times. Okay. All right, so now we've got all our blocks sorted. If you have a look at here, we have a library here, and there's a few things we created, and they're in there. So now we just got to bring them in. So I just got to go to here. Now this here, we don't need it anymore, really. We can just delete it, but you might want to keep it in case you want to make another size or something. But otherwise, that can be deleted. All right. So we set our layer to window, and then we go insert. And then the first button is just insert. Right. So your layer to window, then insert, then expand this out, and you probably see some things already in here. Now those doors are in there because I brought them in when I created the one you are following. I brought them in, then I deleted everything, and I gave you a file to start with, a template file. And because I brought those doors in once, it remembers them in the windows. So really, we didn't have to create any of these windows; they're already in there. And if I just click this here, it'll come in, but it won't be the one that you created. So if you created yours slightly differently, it will be the one I created like a week ago. So say that option wasn't there, you have to go more options, and then actually browse, and then go to the library folder, find that, and bring the one you want in. Now, this one, the next thing, when I go open, would normally not happen if there wasn't a definition of that window in here already. Like if there wasn't one with that name exactly in here already. Now, some of you have named your windows a little slightly differently, whether it's an underscore or a dash or a 0610 or no zero in front of it or whatever. So don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if it doesn't give you that next dialog box. But if it does, it means that you named it exactly the same as what I've got in here. Therefore, it says, "Oh, there's another one in here. What do you want to do? Do you want to update it with the one that you just created?" And that's handy sometimes because you might either sort of stuff up the first option, or you want to change it. All right, and that's very powerful to know that you can do that. That's exactly. You're on the right track. It's very powerful. Exactly what I mean. I had a case when I was working back in the 80s in London, and was working on this apartment thing, and they had this elevational windows. So they said, "Hey, you draw the elevations." So I did. I thought, hang on, I'll make them into a block because they're all the same. So, and I'll just copy the block along. And I did that. And lucky I did that because those window elevations changed about 5 times, I reckon. So the sizing has changed as to what it looked like. So I just changed one, instant update, instant, split second. So I didn't have to delete anything. Just did it. All right. So very powerful. So if I go open now, and it's got a few other things here now in this dialog box. And one is insertion point. That means specify on screen. Yes, I want to tell it where to go. If I don't have that in there, just drop it all down here at the bottom left, which is not what we want. So yeah, I want to tell it where to put it. And the scale, the size is not going to change, so I don't need to click to specify on screen. It can stay at 1. In other words, it's not going to get bigger. It's going to be twice as big. It's not going to be half as big. It's going to be the size I drew it. So 1 is the scale we want there. And the rotation, this case is just going to go there. You can rotate it, but then we probably don't need to. But I'll just click it and see. This gives you an extra prompt. It says the block definition has changed. Do you want to redefine it? Yes, I want to redefine it in my case. And that's what you do if you change it. For example, if we went back in and added the 2 lines in here for the glazing, or the frame for the glazing, and then we reinserted it, it will instantly add glazing frame to all of the windows we have in here. So here it comes. Oh, I got the wrong one, didn't I? Here's one over here, 18. So that's one there. So that'll go there, we said, like that. And then it says, "Oh, do you want to rotate it?" Well, I would if I was putting one like down here later, but I don't now. But for the ones over here, I probably want to rotate it. But no, I don't. So what I'm going to do is just keep my either come over here to the end of that, and then just it positions it, okay, and just stays there. It's up to you whether you have a rotation. And then I'll just insert a few more. Go back to insert, options, go browse, on my 1210, open, okay, redefine it in my case, goes here. Now the other one is a door. So it comes up with the perpendicular. So if you zoom in a bit, you can get sometimes the endpoint. If you don't, just go tab, tab, tab until you have an endpoint. And then you can just click over here to place it. Done. And the other one is a door. We won't create another door. We can just bring the door in, but we have to, we've got a couple of doors. We might as well do them now. And then we can put some more stuff down here, more openings, and then bring some more windows. So we've still got those 2 doors. We won't insert them in because they are already in here, as I said. So it's a night 10 door. So if I go click that. Now it doesn't give me that dialog box when I do that. It just brings it in. Now which way does it go? Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness, we haven't got one like that, have we? So what we're going to do? Well, I'll show you. We're just going to put it down here, and the door goes. This outer bit here goes there. So it goes there, like that, and then So I want to then I want to make it so it faces that way, so it stays that way. So I need to just come across here, somewhere horizontal. Don't click down here. It's going to be on an angle. Just going to click even the midpoint of this line is horizontal to that corner there. So it stays there. So I put it there because what I'm going to do, I'm hoping, is to mirror that along here and delete the old block. That's what I'm going to do. I'll show you. So I'll highlight this first, and then I'm going to select mirror, pre-selection. There we go. So now it says, show me the mirror line. Well, it's going to be from the end point of this, right on, this time is going to be right on that block, because I just want to flip it over from where it is. If I wanted it to be, say, that far away from there, I'll do that, but that's wrong, isn't it? We don't want to do that. So we're going to just, so you've got to choose where to put this mirror line. So mirror, select that there, and yes, I want to delete it this time. There you go. So that's how it goes. So here they just put a frame there. If it's a wooden timber frame, put a little cord around and hides a little gap maybe, and that's where it all goes. And now I can just copy this down here. I don't have to insert it again. I can just copy this time from here. Once you bring some windows in, you probably end up copying them to there and escape. That's what I want to do. And save that and pause. What have I done wrong here? Anyone noticed? I was a bit sloppy. What have I done wrong? Of course, they're in the wrong layer. Yes. Nothing unusual for me. I've been doing it for 30 plus years and I still forget to change the layer. So don't worry too much. You can just change it. That's why it's good to just do your windows first and then your doors after perhaps, but I thought I'll jump in and show you both. So yes, wrong layer. All right. All right, so I'm going to put in some internal doors now and then I'll move on to the outside stuff. But I'm going to pick on this toilet one here. And this one's going in the middle of that wall. So it's a little different to obviously doing, because I gave you the measurements for this, so it was easy. But this one here is the middle of that wall. So it's a 720 door, which means it's 800 opening. So what I'm going to do is draw a line that goes from the midpoint of that to the midpoint of that. Now, if I was clever enough, which I usually am not, I would have had this on the green layer, which is the studs. All right. But I'll do it now. I'll put it back to that. So I'm going to be doing some openings. It's probably, especially internal ones, it's probably best I move away from the window layer and go into the studs. It'll make my life easier. So if I go offset now, I'll go for offset enter, and I'm going to put in 400, which is I'm going to go 400 up and 400 below, and notice I'm moving away to the left, and then clicking. And I'm going to erase that middle one there. Now I've got that opening right in the middle of that wall. I just have to trim it, right? So just click trim, press enter, and there you go. You've got that opening in there. And the same way for the other one, really, it's no different. You just got to work out where you go from, because I'm gonna go offset from the midpoint of this and then perpendicular out, another here or there. So if I go line from the mid, so it's basically exactly the same technique as before. To now here, I'm going to make sure I want to go straight across. For example, I'm going to take off this ortho, and I want to go straight across, but I want to make sure it's perpendicular, because that midpoint here might not be the same midpoint there, and I might get it on a bit of an angle, and I'm not sure how the maths goes there, but it's probably exactly the same thing. But just to be sure, I'm going to shift right click, perpendicular, and I'm going to use that one. That means it goes straight across, which is probably the same thing anyway. Yeah, it is, because that so happened that the distance, that line is, just the maths works out that way. So if I go offset now this one is 900, so it's a 450 offset. Offset enter, and over offset enter, and then I'm typing 450. Click on there, and I point to that the left side of that, and then I click on here and I point to the bottom side of that. I delete this one here, so it's not in my way. Delete, delete, okay. And then I go trim with the enter afterwards. I do a crossing window, cleans that up. So we're ready to put that those couple doors in soon. So that's how to do the mid one. So if you want to, there's another one here. I'll do that one as well, and you can have a practice with the mid ones. And then I'll try to do the other one here, which is 100 away, which is not that hard. You just offset 100 and extend it out and offset 900 again. So if I go line again here, same technique, straight up, offset, 450 is what it is. So when you see 450 come up on your cursor there already, see, it says 450, it means it's a default number that I put in earlier, which means I don't have to type it in. I just press enter. Then it saves me time. And then to the left, and then to the right, and escape, delete that line there, and then TR this time, TR, enter. I'm typing it in, but when you type it in, I've got TR enter, which is the same thing as clicking, but then remember I've got to do one more. I've got to do one more enter. So now I can trim mode. Right, so there you go. I got like there, and what the heck? I'll continue to do that one there as well, and then we'll finish that group of doors, and we'll be right. And I'll show you the buff after that. So if I go offset here, I'll go this one here. I'm just going to offset that 100 we said. That's the rule we've got. That general note from here to there. Now the thing with this one here, it needs to be extended out first or second, doesn't matter. But so I'm going to go extend with this one, but I'll wait for you to have a look at this one because we haven't done one of those extends before, so I'll just wait and then I'll come back to it. So this one here, just offset that little line here 100 because I said it's 100 from the corner. Then I've got a choice what I do here now. I could say, okay, well, look, I'll extend this up, and then I'll offset this. But I'm going to choose not to extend it up, just so I can show you a couple of other little tricks. Okay, so I'm going to go. I've got my little offset of 100 there. I'll repeat it. So it's offset reset 100. Enter, and click that and that, and then I will offset again 900. Easy. We don't have to go halfway because we don't have a halfway with this one. There it is, done. So that's my opening, finished with that. Exit the command. Now I want to trim that in here, but I can't trim it in here because it will only just trim that. This one hasn't got a line to trim to. So I need to get these guys across here for that to happen. So using the trim or the extend command, I can actually do the whole job with one command. Now, just choose whichever one. Let's go with the trim. That's what we've been doing so far. Trim, yes, I want to enter the trim. And now we're ready to trim. This is great. This one will work. This one won't work because there's nothing going up to it, right? So, okay, well, so I've got to get these guys across here. So my choices now are to exit trim command and go into the extend command, then come back into the trim command to do that little bit. But what I'm going to do is stay in the trim command, hold my finger on the shift key continuously, and then with the left mouse button, I'm going to click this, and that will make it go across there. While I've got my finger on the shift key, the trim command becomes an extend command. So now it's extending rather than trimming. If I let go now, it will trim, and it will trim, and it will trim. All right, so you can mix and match. Same with the extend command. When you're extending, if you hold your finger on the shift key down, the extend command will become a trim command momentarily. Right, so it's a bit high-tech advanced sort of tools there. The shift key does a lot of other things with other commands, like the line command. For example, now it's rubber banding. If I hold my shift key down, it holds it horizontally or vertically. And vice versa. If I've got the ortho on, it'll unlock it from that ortho mode. All right, anyway, we can use that with the extend and the trim and get good results. So that's that there. So now I've got a couple of doors here. We'll probably need the bar fold one here, but I can't really put the bar fold because I probably will, yeah, make it either, yeah, halfway between the shelves that I'm going to put here or the cupboards. So I should put the cupboards first, or maybe I'll just put some doors in just so it works, so it looks good. So I'm going to change my layout to doors, like that, and I'm going to go insert there, insert. I've got a 820 door and I've got a 720. Let me go with the 820. I've got one here. Is that the way it goes? Perfect. This one goes perfect there. And I just have to make sure it sits right. You can put your ortho on if you are doing 90s, but I can see there's a 45 coming up. So I think keeping the snapping tracking on, sorry, no, this one here, the polar tracking on with my 45 option is a good idea. So that will lock in at every 45 degrees. And I'll bring another one in the same way. And because it's better to bring it in than try to rotate that 45. Maybe I'll put it. The problem is guessing where to put this thing now because looking at my floor plan, probably, yeah. If you get it wrong though, it doesn't. I probably will get it wrong, would I? Put it there and rotate to 45. So it locks in at every 45. There we go. Done. I mean, if I got a, is that the right way then? Yes, it's the right way. How about this one down here? What? How do I do that? All right, let's see. This one down here. Um, I can see that this one here is the same. So why don't I copy that? I already put one in. So I mirrored this one already. So why not copy the one up there? So I can just copy that, or I can put it in and mirror it again. Oops, I want to copy that. Start again. Highlight this, copy, and I'll get it from here to there, and just put it down there. Okay. All right. So that's it. Oops. I'm just going to continue and do a couple other things. I'm going to drop this other thing next because I sort of need them to work out where that door goes. So I'm going to just use the layer joinery. Now, there's one down here that's 600 deep. So I'm going to offset this. Now, check this out, what I'm going to do with the offset command next. My layer currently is joinery. We haven't done this before. I don't use this often, in fact, hardly ever, but there's an option there and I can show you how it works. If I go highlight this and I go offset, there's an option here, apart from putting in a number, there's an option here called layer. So if I change that to layer, at the moment it's source, which means by default it'll be green if I offset it. But I can change it so it actually goes into the current layer and automatically changes. Great if you're doing a whole lot of these. So let's go to current layer, which is joinery. Oh, what's just here starts here. Let's try again. I am in joinery. Sorry, I got it all confused. So let's go. Yeah, no, just showing that because I had it highlighted. So let's go offset. Yes, layer will be in. Sorry. Oh yes. Sorry, my battery is running out. That's right. Thank you for telling me that. Someone run to the office and get me. No, it's all good. We can run fast. We've got the cable here. Don't panic. Let's put it in. All right. Let's save the name. Earlier. One day is not going to save us. Okay, we're good. One day we're not going to make it. All right. Anyway, we're in. So yeah, current layer. Thank you for that. And then I go 600 is the option of how much. And then see how it's pointing left or right. So we just go left, and it puts it in the joinery layer already. So brown color. So then I'm going to put in a 600 cupboard here, so I can either offset that or just I can do like a rectangle if I want here. So I can go rectangle, start at this corner here, do a distance, enter, and I put 600, and they're both 600 this time. It's just a square one, and just put it there. Doesn't matter if it's got those extra lines there. And then it's just a line that goes from here at 45, and I've got my 45 set up here already. So there we go. And then it's just a matter of putting a couple of 600 offsets here, really, and it should be right. So if we go offset, that's one way of doing it. Or you can, I won't complicate it. We can just go offset 600. Remember, I've set it up so it should go into joinery now. See, it's really handy now. I don't have to worry about changing layers. In this case, it's already putting it in that layer for me. So I'm just going to fillet this now. F for fillet. To that, and now if I offset 2766, that's exact 27666 down there. That's that didn't work. Oh, I went the wrong way. See that? Put it up there. I must have snapped onto something. All right, so I'll erase that later. So if I extend this out now, sorry. First of all, I might actually do this other one as well. Offset that 3094, enter. Okay, so now I'm going to erase that, and I'm going to extend this out. So I'm going to use the extend command. The first time I'm going to use the extend command now. So I'm going to go here, extend, and I'm going to go enter. The same as trim, enter. Now this is great. It goes there. That's what we want. That goes there. That's what we want. But we want to trim this up. So it's shift key. All right, shift key. I'm doing this deliberately here. And look, we ended up with these things here, which we can't do anything about. And I'm just going to delete those. Right? So now you've got a choice if you want to put your doorway halfway between that and that, or halfway between that and that. You've got something to go with. I don't know what I did with the other one, but let's suppose you want to put it halfway between this corner and that corner. And if you've done it the other way, it doesn't matter if you've done it between this one. It's just a matter of dropping this, and I'll stop after this one, dropping this into the wall studs. And we'll go line, shift right click, and we go middle between 2 points. And we select the diagonal corners, this one and that one. And it starts from there, and it just puts a short line there. Enter. We'll extend that out. Now, you can use the extend command, or you don't have to for this, something like this. You can just click on it and use what's called the grips. So these blue things are the grips. You can grab a grip, click on it once, lift your finger off as usual, jump across. Look how this is jumping past the line I want to go to. How did that happen? Somehow this thing here came on. It must have been a sequence of keys I put in, like F9, which I did before, remember? And it dropped me into those jumping mode. So now it's okay. Just go there. All right, so now I can offset this for 50 each side. There, that's normal like the other ones. I'll just erase this, delete, then TR, enter, enter if we're typing it in, two enters. And then I'll just put the bifold in, so I'll show you the technique of that, being aware that we're running a bit of time, and I'll leave the rest of it to just practice for the rest of the evening. So let's go then line. How I'm going to do that is using this one here, the polar tracking, and it's hang on a minute. We need some rectangles here for the frame, which you haven't got. So I'll just put them in. I'm just going to draw it on the spot here because I haven't got. I could have done it into a block if I'm using lots of them, but this one I'm just going to draw it on here. So I'm going to draw a rectangle. Start from here. I'm going to go D for distance, or whatever it is, dimensions, and it's 90 wide and it's 40 deep, and it's going to be put on that side. And then I'm going to mirror that or copy it. Actually, I'll copy it. The same thing. Copy from there. So you had to pick it up from the right corner to match it up with the right corner. Well, I could have picked up that corner and that corner. Hey, same thing. That's enough. One's enough. And I just go line now, and I go. Now I've got the bifold door beginning from the midpoint here, and I'm going to go. Now it's an 820, so therefore it's going to be a 410. The opening is only 820, so it's 410 that way, and it's 410 back the other way. All right, so here when that's expanded out, it should just fit. It doesn't look like it. It looks like it's going to be longer, but the whole length of that should only make 820. All right, I'll leave it at that, I think, for today, or at least for now. All right, we'll leave this at this location where it is. And those of you that I know a bit ahead, that's fine. Keep full steam ahead. And I'll continue finishing it off next week. I'm hoping next week we'll have all the doors, all the windows in, and probably start looking at some masonry perhaps. No, what we're going to do is after that we're going to put the roof on, and then we're going to put it on the sheet of paper and show you how to scale it up so it's to scale when it's printed and that sort of jazz. And then we're going to dimension and note it up. Thank you. See you next week. Have a great week ahead.